thanks for coming out. I don't know, I'm not a behind a podium kind of person. I'm gonna come out. So I just want to talk to you a little bit. You know, it just seems like the mood in the room is down, and I completely understand that. And I want to leave you here today with some hope. And so, just to give you a little background, when I ran back in January, when I knew this seat was opening up, and I thought, oh, you know, after praying for a year and a half and saying, Lord, can I be your hands and feet? How can I help? How can I step up to make a difference? And when I found out this seat was opening up, I literally thought, who am I not to step up? After praying, how can I help? After being frustrated to seeing what we saw happen to our state of Minnesota, to seeing the governor shut us down, to tell businesses you can't be open, to tell churches they couldn't worship, to tell schools to mask our kids. And you know, today we are still seeing the detrimental effects on our kids. We are suffering mental health in the schools. Our kids are suffering in the state of Minnesota. So I decided to run last January. And I will be honest and tell you that I also thought I was going to be serving in the majority. And I thought, I am going to go to St. Paul, and I'm going to make a real difference. And I'm going to be a strong voice for conservatives. As we know, that didn't happen. So I woke up November 9th, as many of you did. Felt like the air was sucked out of the room. And my husband, being the very good husband that he is, gave me about 24 hours of being sad, and then said, get over it. Basically, I might be quoting him a little bit off. You were elected. This is your time. What are you going to do? So, as you know, this is difficult. I had someone ask me, what is this like serving? As Representative Jacobs said, the state of Minnesota legislative session is moving at 3 times the pace of a normal year. We have had over 1,500 bills introduced on the floor. We would normally be at 500. 3 times the pace. There is a big agenda for the state of Minnesota. And you know what? People are waking up. People are waking up to this agenda, and that this is not a Minnesota agenda. This is a partisan agenda. This is something that we never could have imagined happening. And to answer the lady that said to me, how are you doing this day after day? I said to her, I get up every morning, I go, I think some of the Republicans, they might think I'm a little crazy, but I'm like trying to be the cheerleader, trying to say we've got this. We are messaging. We are getting the word out. We don't have the votes. This is a dark time. This truly is a dark time in Minnesota, and I believe that the Lord is allowing this to happen to wake up the middle ground, to wake up the independents, to wake up the moderates. Just yesterday, I got a text from a very, very strong Democrat. She's a friend of mine. She works with me. We know. We pretty much don't agree with on anything. And she said to me, Pam, I saw you on NBC News, which I didn't even know I was on there. And she said there was a video of you, and I agree with you. So this was about the free lunch for all program. And apparently they took a clip of me saying that if the need is to feed hungry kids, let's feed hungry kids, but we don't have to mandate an additional $200 million that the taxpayer is going to have to pay down the road. That was a very strong Democrat that reached out and told me that. Even their party doesn't agree with what's happening in St. Paul right now. On the abortion bill, I was in the same gym during the election process, and I said, as a mother of 5, I would like to stand up on the floor and protect the unborn babies. As a mother of 5, I stood up on the floor for the first time to give my first floor speech. To beg the Democrats of Minnesota to not pass the most extreme abortion bill in the state, in the United States. More extreme than European countries, more extreme than any countries except for China and North Korea. Minnesota is waking up. Minnesota is waking up. We do not want this title to be the most extreme state. We are on a fast track, and the only way we are going to wake up people is this room, which starts with each one of you. This is a time where we have to wake up the public to what's going on. And I know when I go to St. Paul every day, that my job is to do everything I can to stop them, to be a voice of reason, to message, and to get the word out. I was invited to a superintendent's meeting yesterday. So of course the room was full of superintendents and principals and school board members. And I introduced myself. And I said I'm really concerned. You know, that in the state of Minnesota, oftentimes government is the problem. We're making all these mandates. We're causing problems for the schools. So it's not that the Republicans do not support the schools and education. It's just that we want to do it a different way, a better way. We want to allow the administrators to work, the teachers to teach. We trust parents. And government is complicating things too much. So I was very honest with my conversation to the superintendents. And when I was done at the break, a lady came up to me and she said, "You walked into here, this is a room of education, of superintendents." And she said, "I cannot believe how honest you were. Because you could have thought that everybody in this room would disagree with you." But she said, "What you said is exactly what needed to be said, and we're on your side. Most of us in this room do not like what is happening in the schools." I spoke to a superintendent right here from GOODHUE County this week, and he told me that the schools are very nervous that at the end of this legislation cycle, even though the Democrats, put this big bow around everything and try to make it seem really great, he said he's very worried, him and the other superintendents, that at the end of the session, they're going to be holding this big bag of mandates and really left with very little cash to implement them. In the Lord's Prayer, we say, "Thy will be done. Thy will be done." I am embracing this time, that this is a time that we are every day being a light to other people, messaging that we are truly doing what the Lord wants us to do. I ask all of you to come together. I ask all of you to help with the messaging, to wake up other people, to let us know this is not a time to be quiet. Just like I walked into that room of superintendents and I said the truth. I said what needed to be said. And they told me they actually believed and thought pretty much exactly like I just said. But nobody's saying it. We need to start speaking the truth. Thy will be done. We're going to get out of this. I truly believe in 5 years, but it's going to take every one of us working together. And I'm just going to leave you with this. God doesn't give the hardest battles to his toughest soldiers. God creates his toughest soldiers through life's hardest battles.